Hello, my name is Jackson Lee. This is for my individual project number 1 for Spanish 210. And the movie that I have chosen for my favorite American film is actually Ford versus Ferrari. It was made in 2019. Talks about Carroll Shelby, if you know that. He's the founder of Shelby, works with Ford and everything like that. And Ken Miles, who's considered one of the greatest race car drivers of all time, and his career was cut short because he ended up dying in a test crash and everything like that. But let me see the questions real quick. What is the main argument? The main argument is that politics and people in businesses, large corporations and everything, do not care about the little people. Ken Miles is a very poor guy, but he knows a lot about cars. He knows a lot about racing. He knew Carroll Shelby from long back. Carroll Shelby's creating this new car to beat Ferrari in the Le Mans race, the famous Le Mans race. And he needs a driver to put in the car, so he selects Ken Miles. But at the same time, the vice president of Ford, who's, going to later take on to the company and everything, is like, no, we don't want this slum, this peasant, this bum driving our car. We need to have these other race car drivers. So Shelby puts up his whole entire company. He says, if Ken Miles doesn't win the first race of the Le Mans, you can have all the stocks of Shelby. I'll leave you alone. You'll never hear from me again. Turns out Ken Miles wins the race, goes on to win the next 3 races, and they get to the final show, the final race, and he's about to win the 4th race of the Le Mans. Nobody's ever done that before. And he's the first car. He's 87 laps ahead or something like that. And the second place car, or not 87 laps, sorry, 7-8 laps ahead. And the second and third place car are Ford's as well. And so the vice president of Ford goes to the president of Ford and says, wouldn't it be really cool if all 3 Fords crossed each other at the finish line? So they tell Ken Miles to slow down. Ken Miles ends up slowing down. They all cross the finish line, but due to a technicality, one of the other drivers ends up winning, and Ken Miles doesn't get the title, the money, the fame that he deserved. And the message of the film is that you can work so hard and in the end have everything taken from you like that. What are the roles of the characters? I kind of just explained the plot there. Does this film have any message? The message is that there's a second message to it. No matter where you come from, you can succeed, or you have the opportunity to succeed. Ken Miles' case, it was taken away from him. He ended up passing away a year later doing a test drive with the same car, but he had that opportunity. Is it art for the sake of art or art with a message? I say art with a message for sure. It has nostalgia for people, that were around in that time period. It has people trying to get into cars. If you're a car guy like me or whatever, it's very fascinating, the type of mechanic work they do in there. Has a good story between Ken Miles. Matt Damon plays Carroll Shelby, and Christian Bale actually plays Ken Miles. So you got 2 big name actors in there. So I'd say it's art with that message, of you can come from whatever. Did you like it? I loved it. It's 10 out of 10 film. It was an amazing film. I loved it. I actually cried at the end when Ken Miles died and his kid, was by himself and everything like that. It was a pretty sad film, at the end. Does this film have special significance to you? I wouldn't say so, as in, I'd say it does, as in I'm a car guy. I love cars. I love Ford. I love Carroll Shelby, everything he does. But I didn't actually know much about, the whole Enzo Ferrari thing, Ken Miles, all this story before. So it was very fascinating for me to learn about it based off of the knowledge of what I already knew about Shelby and Ford and race cars and everything like that. Was the director effective in relaying the message? I definitely think he was, because it showed the progression throughout the film. It showed how Ken Miles was this hot driver, this guy that's just winning all these races, and then how he was discriminated, how he ended up winning, and then how he was going to win it all, but then he got it taken away from him. And so it breaks it down very, not simply, but it's very put in front of you. And would I recommend this film? 100%. If you're into cars, if you like drama, if you like a little bit of mystery, because you don't really know what's going to happen. Is he going to get his opportunity? Is he going to win? Is he going to lose? I kind of spoiled it for you, but But also at the same time, it has a lot of history behind it too. So if you were I think it takes place in 1940, 50, some 40 or 50. I'd have to look it up. But if you were around in that time period or know anything about that time period, it's definitely an interesting watch. So thank you for listening to this. This is my Project One individual video reflection. And for Spanish 210, this is Jackson Lee, and thank you.